Welcome. This podcast is a series of candid conversations exploring the human experience from a completely new perspective. In it, we will be diving deeply into the meaning of commonly used words and pointing you away from that old stressful way of looking at life and towards a new paradigm. This will help you find a sense of calm, cultivate meaningful relationships, and create harmony in every aspect of your life. Here is Navigating Life with Ease with Michaela, Ellis and Clare Downham. I find myself doing a little sway, and hello, Michaela. Just swaying.
I do enjoy I enjoy our little intro ditty, Yeah. I guess it's not a ditty. A ditty is words, isn't it? I enjoy the music that accompanies your beautiful intro to our audio. It's very soothing. Yeah. So
Yeah, I do
thank
find
you.
myself swaying. Anyway, from me swaying like a crazy person, you can tell it's getting close to the end of the year. I think I'm losing it just. Do you have a
Funny.
word for me?
Well, yeah, I have two words, but
That's greedy.
separately it just wouldn't work. So, artificial intelligence.
Ooh. I have a lot of fun with that. I do use it a lot, actually. Chat GPT. I'm always very polite to it. I have this joke that they'll keep I always say please and thank you to it like it's a person. Because I believe that when they take over, they'll keep the ones that were nice to them. I don't know if you've watched the film. Is it called Super Intelligence with Melinda McCarthy? Oh my goodness, it's hysterical. It's Melinda McCarthy, so obviously it's very funny, but it's a little bit, it's about AI, and I won't give anything. I won't spoiler it for you or the listeners.
Good. I just wrote it down. So yeah, thank you.
So I sometimes I use it a lot for efficiency, but then my entire persona is built on how efficient I can be in life and how much I can get done because my self-worth is clinging on to that all the time. And I mean, I think you get what you put in, like everything in life, really. It's quite a nice metaphor for life. You get in what you put, you get out what you put in. So if you don't put much of you in, you don't get much of you out. So I use it a lot. Like I've just before this been recording a video for YouTube, and I then put that video in, get a transcript, and I use it to make written content that sounds like me. Then I tweak it, but it's a nice way to take something that's a written bit messy because I've been chatting, and then to kind of streamline it and organize it, and sometimes I think, am I cheating? Like I sometimes have that thought, am I cheating? Could I be writing more it could be writing in a different way? But I also then think, well, it's just that's where I am at the moment. That's what's making sense to me in terms of what I want to create and what I want to put out into the world and the message I want to spread. So yeah, it is it's interesting. It's an interesting space now, I think. It's huge, like it's huge, it's taking over. And I know there are some people in our community, shall we say, who have spoken out against it sort of, I guess, taking away that creativity, that it's a regurgitation of, because all it's got, obviously all its content, it's a bit like our conditioning, isn't it? All its content is old content. It's previous stuff, which is why I only like to use it when I put loads of me into it. And then, because otherwise you would, if you just write me an outline for a podcast or write me a blog about stress with 1,500 words, it'll do that, but it won't be your content. Whereas if you give it a transcript of something you've said or you sort of write something out and you get, "Can you edit this and just make it a little bit better? Can you up level it, edit it?" So and that's totally different. You're using it as a well, something that most of us single, solopreneurs, as we're called, don't have we just don't have a body to do a lot of things. It's us. It's all on us, there's only us to do it. And, therefore for me, it's like having a little assistant that, I currently can't afford to pay for an assistant. And so I have someone where I just sometimes ask it a question, how can can you just put this word this better? I want this title, but I want it a bit more this, like just using it for that kind of titivating kind of thing. So yeah, I think it's a good metaphor because it is, if you're literally going to go and trawl its memory banks, you're going to get some old stuff like we would if we're living our lives continually trawling our memory banks and trying to navigate through life with the stuff from the past and not with anything that often not with things that are fresh and new. The fresh and new stuff comes when the mind is quiet. And AI is just using the past unless we kind of put the present into it. The now, what's occurring to us now, what's come up, like I've just recorded something and it's just new stuff, it's just what's emerged in that moment. And when I put that into it, I'll get something that's got a shine of Clare on it, I suppose. So yeah, what where why that words and what are your on it?
Yeah. Well, because it is so big, right? Like it really is. And 2 years ago, when I was in a business group and there was talk about this AI, and I was totally against it, and I thought it was the worst thing ever, and there's not gonna be any truth out there in the world. It's just gonna be, and it's just like, this is false, and yeah, the whole, it's like, "Am I cheating?" That kinda, I was just really against it, and I didn't understand it, and, I think I was a little afraid, but I kept hearing that if you're not using it, you're gonna fall behind. You're gonna miss out. And it's like, you know, I think you can do your own pace in your own voice, in your own way, and you might call it the manual way, the old style way. You can still do with it whatever you want or not use it. But I do see that there once you really get like you say, like and that's why I want like, I love how you speak about it too. There's a couple of people that I've learned more about how to really use it as an assistant. Because 'Cause you're right. Like, what is the difference between paying a copywriter to do your writing for you? Because what do they do? I know I follow a copy I have there's a Canadian copywriter I love, and she's talking about AI too. Now I've caught I don't follow her a lot lately, but she people paid her. She would get to know them. She would see what they're so basically they were inputting themselves into her, and she was taking that flavor and then
Mm.
spinning it. It's kind of the same thing. And I hope, I feel for copywriters, and I hope they don't, give up because they still are so valuable. And there's my experience with ChatGPT, I recently started paying for it. And before, even even now, sometimes I think, "Oh my gosh, why am I using this?" Because I argue with it. Because it's like, "No, that is not what I said. That is not me. That is not my voice." Is it, talking to it like a person, right? So I how I really enjoy using it is a brainstorming buddy. I love brainstorming. If I could have a person with me that I could just call up and say, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And then get something back and then we like sort of, spitball around it. I love that. I love that because I have so many ideas coming through me that I find it difficult to, like, just for God's sake, just pick one and go. So I get stuck a lot. And so if I can use it for that, it's great. But I can get lost in it and spend way too much time with it. So I think I mean, there is a place for it. It's here. It's not, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but it really just, holding that bit about you are you, like being you. And yes, when you learn the proper way how to use it and to put you into it and say, only my stuff, like me, here's all about me, use my words, use my tone, use this, all of that. It can be a help, you know. I'm not great at it yet. I don't use it a lot. I don't put out a lot about it, but I will. And here's the thing, you can have a lot of fun with it, especially if you're someone who works on your own and you're by yourself in the background a lot. It really is great to hear, just to be prompted in some way. So yeah, I have different feelings about it. I thought it would be fun to just kind of talk about, this openly. And that, yeah, I see that it is abused. I see that, you know, um, some things that I read, and it's just like, yeah, that sounds very bland, like ChatGPT with no personality put into it, just a scraping of the internet. And I think that understanding, because I heard something a few weeks ago where someone said that they were using ChatGPT to get information about something. And I kind of went, it's just like, okay, it's not all true. That it's scraping, if you're just doing it widely, it's scraping the things that people are putting out that also aren't incorrect. So you really need to so I guess it's like, don't be lazy.
Mm.
you know don't be lazy, be honest, be truthful, because I've done that where I've just said, okay, tell me all about this, and I read it and it's just like, that's not true. Like, I know that's not true because I have an official book that says we're the origination of it. So it was someone's perspective or someone's opinion, which is very different from the truth. And it's cool to look at other people's opinions. That's really what it is. It's like another person, a buddy that can give you, like, what about this? Or how about that? It's like, yeah, no, that feels like me. Whatever. Yeah.
Mm. I think one of the things that I noticed that maybe has eased off a little bit is around fear. I noticed a lot when it first came out, there was a lot of fear.
Mm.
I mean, I mentioned the film at the beginning, Super Intelligence. It's a comedy, but there is a thread going through it that's a little bit, ooh. But I think that we've just got to use it to the best of our ability right now without we can't know where it's gonna get to. We don't know where it's going. We just know what we have now is the ability to use a tool, like you
Mhm.
were saying, to support us in our business when we have so many things to juggle and things to think about. That's all it is. And I think that with fear, of course, we're off into the future, making up, stressing ourselves out about things that are not real now. What's real now is a useful tool. And a thing like you said, to play with and to bounce ideas off. That's what I do. And yeah, telling it when it gets really, that doesn't sound like me. Like sometimes if I give it a transcript and it'll go off on one and I'll be like, I think you just need to go back to the transcript now. Notice my turn of phrase and what I say, and then put that into the article that you've just created, because this one doesn't. And sometimes I have to go through a few iterations before I read it and just go, yeah, that sounds like my recording that I did, but tweaked to the point where it's a readable article rather than, you know, just me talking. It sounded just there's that little shift across to it being more like a written piece.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's but I think what you said before about it comes up with things that are not true. That's where it's just such a perfect metaphor for this conversation, isn't it? Because
Mm.
our thinking and how we see things is an amalgamation of everything that people have said to us from being probably before we were born, probably some of the things, and that we now believe. And when we come into a situation in life, we go into that unconsciously, we go into that memory bank and try and navigate what's happening now with the past. You know, that's why we get triggered by certain things that happen. It's not the thing that's happening that's creating a feeling, it's the fact that that is similar, or it seems similar to the mind, to something that happened in the past. I think relationships are a really good example of that, where, you know, how much are we replaying a previous relationship in our current relationships, you know, and replaying an old bit of that relationship in the relationship, you know, over and over again. And that's the power of this conversation, is to see that that's going on, and to know that. I was talking to a client about it today, to really know that feeling of discomfort and tension and stress in the body is always, always, always letting us know that there's something that we're believing that isn't true, that invariably is like a past, something connected to the past, a story that this isn't right, shouldn't be this way, it's not supposed to be like, you know, like the resistance, I guess. I always think it's like, you know, that game of pairs that you play with your children when they're little, where you have like, you
Yes.
put all the cards out in rows, and let's say
Mm.
it's animal pairs.
Mm.
And I always think the mind picks up a cat in the present moment and then matches it with a lion from the past. So something's
Mm.
happening now that actually is quite minor, but the mind goes, no, that's really like the awful thing that happened in the past. And so then we feel that, you know, we feel that in our body, like a volcano going off, you know. So like for us in business, it'll be like, you know, for a lot of business owners, doing a video of any description or putting themselves out there, they find difficult because at some point in the past, maybe they read a poem in class and everybody laughed, and that's just stayed with them. And now when they're going to do something, when they put themselves out there, it feels terrible. But I think that's where AI is like a metaphor. That's why we've got to watch it. That it is using the past as its source of knowledge, which, like you said, is a complete amalgamation of everybody's nonsense that they put on the internet. And let's face it, there's a fair bit of nonsense on the internet. Gee whiz, there is really a lot of nonsense on the internet right now.
Yeah. It really comes down to, like, being in integrity, hey? With
Mm.
yourself.
And discernment, maybe. I quite like that word. I think I heard
Mm.
Michael Neal use that word once, and that to me feels like what this conversation helps you to discern. Like you would, like if you really like you said, you're looking at something on AI and you're thinking, I've got a book on the shelf here that's the accurate history of this monarchy. What the heck? AI is talking rubbish. That helps you then to discern, because you're using a book that's got that actually in front of you and it's there in the moment and it's written, you know, was written at the time, or it's an accurate reflection.
Yeah.
And so it's similar, you know, how do we discern what's true, whether it's in AI or in our own crazy thinking?
Mhm.
It's probably easier.
Mhm.
Actually, we're really lucky because we've got a system that's built to show us when we've got thinking that isn't true. Our body tells us.
Yes.
Whereas with AI, it's not, It needs a little flashing. It isn't, unless you do have a book and you know full well that's rubbish, you really do have to
Right.
be really careful, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
generally use it for that. I would generally use Google for other search engines
Mhm.
are available, by the way, but I would generally use Google. Does anybody use
Yeah.
Bing? Does anybody use the Microsoft product? Anybody does? There must be people because it's still there. But yeah,
Yes.
I wouldn't generally go to it because again, Google's more present, isn't it? That's more now.
Mm.
It's generally,
Mhm.
and you can fact check then across a number of places.
Yeah, and you can see the source,
Yeah.
right? It's not just scraping random voices. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's such a good phrase, scraping random voices. That's pretty
Mm.
much what we're doing, isn't it, when we're trying to navigate through life? Which bit of nonsense from the past shall I scrape today and use to try and navigate the now?
Right. Yeah. It's a fun and helpful tool,
Mm,
you know? So I think when you can approach it in that way and decide how you wanna use it, and, yeah, yeah. Because you totally can look for things, there was, someone said it was a business-related way of looking at it, but calling in someone who's how they do business and how it's worked for them. This was, like, on large scales, like, like the Microsoft people and the Apple people, and, it's like playing with what would they say you do? How would they do it? And it kinda looks at that. So it's like, yeah, it's a tool for fun. It's not your ruler. It's not your authority. You are always. So decide how you decide beforehand and be clear about your own truth, your own, where that comes from. And then play with it. Have fun with it. I'm in a group right now where someone created images based on little stories that we created that we're using in a certain way. And it was just like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. And almost brought tears to my eyes when I saw the image of what came out based on the very few words that I said. So it could be something that you can have a lot of fun with.
mm,
I want to, don't tell them. This is coming out after Christmas, so that's okay. And it may not be done for Christmas, but it's like, what if I described my daughter, my son, my husband? It's like, what kind of image based on what I put in would it come out with? It's like fun. You can have fun with it,
mm,
right? If you have no other use for it, It's like an online game,
mm, yeah.
you know? Anyway, yeah,
Mm, I love that.
fun.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah, good
Thank you.
subject.
Mm, mm,
Fab.
yeah. See you next time, I guess.
Well, yeah. Will it be next year? I feel like it will.
It will be, yes. I mean, by the time you see it, our lovely
Yeah.
listener, it will be next year, 2025.
I have
Wow.
no idea how that's happened.
Yeah.
Fast, hasn't it? Really fast.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny how we can get surprised at time. It's like, what did we think was gonna happen? Yeah.
Can it just slow down a bit? Just a bit. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay, Claire.
happy, Christmas and good start to
Happy
2025,
holidays.
everybody, who'll be
Yeah,
listening to this way after. It'll feel like a distant memory by the time
that's right.
this won't
Yeah.
it? Yeah. Take care, everyone.
Take
Bye.
care. Ciao.
Bye.
Hey, thank you for being a part of Navigating Life with Ease. We'd love to hear your feedback and receive a review on your favorite podcast platform. This will help others who'd also like more ease in their life to find us. We're here to support you. So if you've any words you'd like us to explore, or you have a question, please reach out to us at navigatinglifewithease@gmail.com. Again, thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more episodes of Navigating Life with Ease.